In the late 19th century, a huge clash happened, a huge war. Some parts of the Europeans started to come to Africa in order to conquer Africa and call it part of Europe. The Italians, the British, the Spanish, they conquered all of the other parts of the Africa. And Italy was to struggle among Ethiopia. But they couldn't even fight. They didn't even fought between Ethiopia. Not one war they won. Never. Because our very famous great kings had very great skills during war. So that's when we all remember how our great ancestors from the past defeated all of those Italians to conquer. And that's why Ethiopia is the only country in Africa not to be conquered by the European forces. His name was King Minilik. Well, King Minilik, he was like a very old king, army general and king. He led his army. He was a great king. He made fair rules. He was very kind. He was nice among his people. But when he heard about the Italians, he knew it was time to rage to the battlefield. He brought in lots of priests carrying crosses and also lots of trained soldiers. One of them that's my favorite was Ras Makonnen. He was a young soldier when he started. So as they raced to the battlefield, it was like a half an hour to arrive to meet the Italians, and then the Ethiopians were here, the Italians were there, and they were ready to fight. As then the first few soldiers kill like about 100 of soldiers that in just like a few minutes, and then with all the success that Ethiopia's great soldiers, ancestors, preachers, and lots of other people who fought between Italy, the Italians got defeated. And something that legend said, after the king and army general of Italy went back to Italy, empty-handed with no slaves, the people there were like, because they thought he was gonna bring a lot of slaves or just a few, but he didn't. So that's why we celebrate the great victory of the Battle of Adwa. You know the green, yellow, red flag? Well, the green stands for the great vegetation and how green our land is. Yellow stands for the hope and kindness that our country has. And red stands for the blood that our ancestors shed during the late seasons. Since our country is no longer conquered or there's no war, don't be scared and follow your dreams. And you must love your country. You must always love and bless it. And also remember through your heart and brain how your ancestors fought for you and all of us. Well, you have to be good and obey the rules. You should always follow the rules. Disrespecting means you don't love your country. It's not that you love, it's that you follow, and to show you truly love your country, you must care for it, help it. Help the environment of your country and respect the rules of your country and never violate it and never even dare harm anything. Not remembering the past is like a tree without even roots. Remembering the past means a tree with roots, because the roots are like your ancestors. They help you stand. It helps trees stand, right? Our ancestors are like tree roots, and they worked hard for us to stay normal and be like ourselves and be free from slavery. it's like, those trees stand because of those roots. Because without roots, the trees can't even stand. The most thing I'm focused on is my past and future. I'm like very curious what should I do in the future, and I'm very curious what should I learn about the past. I learned my past by reading lots of books and listening. I listened to my parents, because my parents told me how our ancestors in the past and present struggled for our own lives. I read this book called The Battle of Adwa, and I always wanted to plead for history books made for children about the Battle of Adwa, and also celebrate the Battle of Adwa. Not only the Battle of Adwa, but also battles of your own ancestors. And don't forget, we should always make a better future.